A young gamer aged 21 was discovered lifeless in his residence in Florida. James Berry, born on May 28, 1995, had an older sister named Alexandra, who was approximately 7 years his senior. She described their household as pleasant, filled with numerous animals, such as horses, dogs, and cats.
Your perfect son, your perfect brother, your perfect friend. He was a saint. He was just a person that you had to have just met. If he was still alive, it would be nice, because he really loved just life, and he loved nature, and he loved animals, and he loved gaming. I mean, gaming was his biggest thing, but he never caused trouble. He never snuck out, he never did drugs, he never drank, he went to college, he took care of my mother when she had breast cancer. He was really a good child.
When James turned 7, his parents divorced, and he subsequently resided with his mother, Nicola. Despite this, James maintained a close relationship with both his father and sister. James was known for his adventurous spirit, but developed an early interest in playing video games. He formed connections within the gaming community while also maintaining friendships from school, including a girl named Melanie, who eventually became his girlfriend. On November 17, 2016, at around 12:52 a.m., Nicola Berry made a distressing call to 911. She informed the Palm Beach County dispatcher that her son had been stabbed and was bleeding.
An ambulance right away. Somebody came in and stabbed my son, and he's bleeding, and he's almost unconscious. Please get him.
Ma'am, I have them on the way. I need you to calm down. Where is the person that stabbed him?
We don't know. The front door is open. They came in. I was sleeping, and his friend was over, and his friend woke up and found him stabbed.
Okay,
He's dying.
where is he stabbed at?
He's stabbed in the shoulder.
Okay,
He's dying. Please get us. He's bleeding.
Sam, I have help on the way. SOU on the line?
Yeah.
I'm still here.
What is that vein, guy?
By his neck?
Jugular vein.
Okay. Do you have someone have a cloth to put pressure on?
Yes, we have to try it right now. Please get him. Is he breathing? You don't know?
I need to know if he's not breathing. Okay. No, sir, I have them on the way. I need to know if he's unconscious, right?
He's unconscious, yes.
Is he breathing?
No, he's not breathing.
The police swiftly arrived at the scene, finding a horrifying sight within the house. Blood was splattered across the floor, bed, and hallway. James had been fatally stabbed in the chest, with additional wounds from stabbings and slashes. Unfortunately, he succumbed to his injuries on site. During the investigation, a knife with a 10-inch blade and grooves on the handle was discovered in the kitchen. It was identified as the murder weapon and had been relocated from the floor to the kitchen counter. No signs of forced entry were found, but a cell phone with a pin case was discovered on the back patio table. 3 individuals were present at the time of the attack: Nicola's boyfriend Guy, and James' friend Jeff. According to the witnesses, the cell phone belonged to Melanie, James' girlfriend, who had been at the house earlier that evening. Valuable information was obtained from the 3 witnesses. It was revealed that Melanie and James had started dating during high school. As James was a year older, Melanie dropped out after he graduated and obtained her GED. They both attend Palm Beach State College and even shared a class together. Jeff, James' best friend, was the first to be interviewed. Detective Seenover learned that Jeff had been staying overnight and had fallen asleep around 9:30–10 p.m. Jeff recounted that James woke him up saying, "I think it's over." Jeff went back to sleep but was awakened again by James running around the house, turning on lights and screaming for help. Overwhelmed, Jeff used his hands to try to stop the bleeding. He mentioned that Guy entered the room and attempted CPR while Nicola called 911. According to Nicola, the evening proceeded as usual, with the family, dinner, and James and Jeff spending time together in James' room. Guy confessed to being the one who picked up the knife. He claimed that he did not intend to tamper with evidence, but believed that someone might have accidentally stepped on the knife if he hadn't moved it. The testimonies of the witnesses aligned, leading the police to conclude that they were not involved in James' murder. Nicola was asked about Melanie's involvement, but she denied any connection, describing Melanie as shy and timid. Nicola only had positive things to say about her. Approximately 30 minutes after the police arrived at the scene, Melanie's mother appeared. She informed the police that Melanie had left earlier in the evening and was highly distraught. Despite attempting to contact her, Melanie's mother received no response. During the investigation, James' father contacted the police, stating that he had spoken with his son a few hours before his demise. James had informed his father of his intention to break up with Melanie. In his final text message, James expressed how much the breakup would hurt him. A search warrant was obtained for Melanie's phone, revealing a gaming app through which James and Melanie had been communicating. On November 16 at 9:08 p.m., James informed Melanie of his decision to end their relationship. It was evident from the messages that Melanie was deeply upset and hurt by this news. Melanie's parents were interviewed and acknowledged that she had left their house approximately 45 minutes before the murder. She drove away in her white Toyota as high speed, visibly upset. Further investigation led the police to a surveillance camera on a neighbor's house, which captured footage of Melanie's car entering the area shortly before the murder and departing just before the 911 call. A BOLA, be on the lookout, was issued for Melanie and her vehicle. The police re-interviewed Jeff, discovering that he had lived with James and his family in 2014. Jeff eventually moved out due to Melanie's influence. According to Jeff, Melanie exhibited controlling and possessive behavior. She became upset whenever James expressed a desire to spend time with his friends. Jeff also mentioned that James had attempted to break up with Melanie in the past, but she would always threaten self-harm. A year prior to the murder, Melanie confessed to pouring bleach into Jeff's expensive saltwater aquarium, resulting in the death of some fish. Jeff described her as emotionally unstable. Melanie's family attempted to create distance between her and Jeff, and she temporarily moved in with relatives in Maryland. However, by August 2016, she and Jeff had reconciled and resumed their relationship. The police received information from the highway patrol that Melanie's car had been sighted as a Turnpike Plaza within 15 minutes of the murder. Melanie had used her credit cards at various gas stations and ATMs on her way to Silver Springs, Maryland. She had also been in contact with her cousin, Mongol, before and after the murder. The Palm Beach County Police contacted the Maryland police, requesting them to check if Melanie's white Toyota was present as her cousin's residence. It was confirmed, and 24 hours later, the police informed Melanie's cousin that they needed to ensure Melanie's well-being. Melanie emerged from the house a few minutes later. Body camera footage captured her asking when she should come in for questioning. Overwhelmed, Melanie broke down, expressing her fear.
Hi, Melanie. You got called to make sure that you were okay. Any other questions for us? What's going on, Melanie?
I don't know, I'm just scared.
Okay. What are you scared about?
I'm just wondering, when should I go in for the questioning?
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, we haven't been told anything. Like I said, they just wanted us to talk to you about, make sure physically and emotionally you were fine is all.
400, I'm direct. I'm gonna head that way till I hear further.
Okay, alright.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hold on, we just made a check.
So we'll come back and knock on your door, Monkey.
On November 18, Detective Sean Oliver traveled to Maryland to interview Melanie at her cousin's house. He made it clear that she was not in custody and didn't need to be read the Miranda rights. Detective Oliver encouraged Melanie to share her side of the story. Melanie admitted that James had broken up with her, confessing that he had not loved her for months. Initially devastated, Melanie described becoming extremely angry. She committed to driving to James' house and taking a knife with her. When asked about the number of times she had stabbed him, Melanie claimed she didn't know but believed it was more than once. Melanie informed Detective Oliver that she still had the blood-stained shirt in her possession and handed it over to him.
I'm not like that.
I'm looking at you right now. I believe you are.
I've never been violent. I've never done anything violent before.
Melanie was arrested on November 19 and charged with second-degree murder. Before her first trial, Melanie's defense team filed a pre-trial motion to suppress her confession. They argued that Detective Oliver chose not to read her the Miranda rights or provide her with an attorney, despite her request. The judge ruled that she hadn't been in custody at the time and therefore Detective Oliver wasn't obligated to administer Miranda rights or provide her with legal representation. The prosecution contended that Melanie became angry following her breakup with James. She drove to his house, initially intended to salvage their relationship, but her anger escalated to the point where she grabbed a knife. Melanie's defense team shifted blame onto Guy and Nicola, suggesting that Guy was the actual perpetrator and Nicola had been covering up for him. They also claimed that Guy had moved the knife to the kitchen counter, hoping it would be cleaned and thus concealed. The jury deliberated for 2 days, but couldn't reach a unanimous decision. While they believed Melanie was guilty, they were unable to determine whether it constituted first or second-degree murder. During her second trial, Melanie was ultimately found guilty of second-degree murder. In April 2019, she received a 50-year prison sentence. James' family expressed satisfaction with the outcome of the trial. James' family and friends have endured immense pain throughout this ordeal. The defense attempted to shift blame onto Guy and Nicola, who had already experienced a traumatic event. Melanie desperately tried to hold onto James, unaware of the harm she would ultimately cause. James, with his whole life ahead of him, likely never imagined that Melanie could be capable of such violence. Jeff, on the other hand, always had a sense of Melanie's potential for harm. Thank you, my young detectives, for watching this episode. See you next time. Bye.